Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet.
When the summer evenings turn to autumn nights, and the pretty little something that caught your eye, making something out of nothing's how we're living our lives. But here I am crying on a Saturday night. My name is Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden. And who was that?
I actually didn't copy paste his name over, did I? I don't recall. Sorry, mate. Nemagami or something like that. His name was
Tamaguchi.
Yeah, could have been that. So yeah, welcome to the show. Shout out Kiwi Jezza, straight on the live stream, waiting for us.
Jumped
Thanks,
right
mate.
in.
Yeah, there he is.
Good to see you, Jez. Thank you for stopping by. And wow, wow, a lot's been happening.
Yeah. For example, I've just noticed that I can see my dirty laundry in the background of my shop.
That's pretty
my
sweet.
Frame.
That's pretty cool. Little sock hanging out the
sock
side there.
hanging up.
A little jizz sock hanging out, poking out the side there.
That jizz sock isn't hanging off the side. It's climbing out. We caught it. Get back in there. Cheeky bugger. They get a bit cheeky.
It's like it's come to the amount of jizz that has been put into that sock has basically reanimated it, brought it to life. There's so much life in that sock. The sock has come to life and tried to jump out of the basket.
It has more DNA than I do.
So that's
But the reason why you can see it, right, is because we've figured out this framing situation. Oh gosh, I had this big issue with framing on this we got this new webcam. I got this fancy new webcam, and it was always just too close. Like
so close.
So close. I just couldn't figure it out. There's just a problem with it.
It was just weird. And then suddenly one day today, you figured out that it was a zoom lens. And, you could, and at any point in this whole time, you could have just zoomed it out slightly and everything would have been fine.
It was on auto though, and it was feeling like it was on a servo thing. So I was like, oh, I don't want to force it. I was like, but no, I did know it was a zoom lens, but it didn't seem to zoom back this far before. Oh, maybe this is because of the firmware update. Could that do it?
No, that would not.
There's a lens thing?
That's 100% just the end of the zoom range.
But I did obviously know it was a zoom lens, and I've zoomed it.
So that's
but
cool.
Anyway,
we've managed.
So now it's good. It's good. I'm finally starting to get this thing looking decent-ish. And I've found the ideal layout here as well, where I can have my notes somewhere I can see them. That's not incredibly uncomfortable or far away from the camera.
So yeah, this is the best. I've also found the optimal lighting for me that really just makes my eyes pop. There's singing at the moment, and it's also, you know, because the thing about lighting is that when it's done well, it sort of covers up the problems. The problem for me is that I look horribly tired all the time with giant bags under my eyes because I'm constantly going to bed at 4 a.m. And
that'll do it.
And so this lighting setup makes me look very well rested. I've also tried I've added a little purple hue to the background behind me to give it something just a touch. It's not that grey. That
flat grey. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling that flat grey so much.
Yep. So just it's all about lighting. It's all about lighting. It's all about the angles, and it's all about lighting. So we're here. We're live, and we're rushed off our feet. We're flat out. We're busy.
Yes, indeed we are. It's been a big few days. We've got all sorts of exciting developments on the go at the moment with a big premiere of Immi the Vegan. We've got Older with release dates finally coming soon. Can you believe, dear listener, dear long-term listener, can you believe after 5 years of listening to this show, and we shot this film a year and a half before we started this show. And so 5 years we've been talking about this thing, dear listener, and now we finally have a release date.
We do.
And you're going to come with us on this roller coaster of, is it going to be well received? Is it going to make any fucking money? Is anybody going to give a shit? Is it going to be a massive success?
Is it going to be
Are we going to be a viral hit? Is this going to make us rich beyond our wildest imaginings?
Is it going to be a...
Keep tuning in.
Is it going to be a wet fart? That just in church, that just out, and everyone kind of turns for a second and then turns back away in disgust.
Could be one of those. We'll see, right? But I don't think so. I think people will like it.
Yes.
I think they're going to love I think they're going to love it.
I'll be very interested to see, very excited to see, very cool to get it out there and release it. And are we going to announce the release date tonight, or is that what we're going to do?
I don't see why we wouldn't, but we should just mention that it could change.
It could change, yeah.
This is not like really official, but this is more of a scoop for the listeners. This is why you listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
This is why you tune in, Wazza, while you're driving to work, Jamie Oxley while you're cruising the outback, to get these scoops.
Yes. Well,
motherfucker.
So shall we start off with that then? That we can officially say that on August the 16th, Older will be available streaming on Amazon and Vimeo for our New Zealand listeners. So it will be available digitally in those. So streaming on Amazon worldwide to all English-speaking
regions.
Yeah. So that
territory.
That means that US, UK, Ireland,
all of those English-speaking ones. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I looked on the list, right? There was like the English-speaking regions as per the list below, and then but it listed random countries as English-speaking ones. Like it was like whatever, like Pakistan, English. Because I guess a big enough part of the population speaks English or something like that. So does it count, that?
Well,
I certainly hope so.
I'm assuming so.
Judging by, you remember our YouTube statistics, we are very popular in India. The trailer for Older has actually had a huge percentage, like more than like the biggest by a long way percentage of our views on the Older trailer come from India.
We're huge with Indian perverts.
We're huge. Hey, don't be mean to our loyal followers in India. I want to welcome our Indian followers to the Guy and Harley podcast.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being
singular person that is listening from over in India. Look, I'm not saying you're all perverts, but I'm definitely saying that it seems that a large people seem to be checking in for some skin-on-skin action from the trailer.
Yeah, well, look, that is, correlation is not causation, okay? So they all looked, and there happens to be sex in the trailer. Those two things are not necessarily related.
Okay.
But either way, yes, the trailer, which has had a lot of views, mostly because of the sex, is very popular in India because of the sexy thumbnail. Because the thumbnail I put was people having sex. It was Guy and somebody having sex, and that worked really well on YouTube until it got flagged as adult, and now we can't send it to anybody on YouTube anymore because they've got to sign in to watch it. So if you want to send it to like a producer or something like that, instead of sending it to them and it having like hundreds of thousands of views, I don't know how many it has, 500,000 views or whatever, you have to send them the Vimeo one, which has like,
but it's,
a few hundred views.
But judging by our statistical analysis, it is safe to say that a lot of Indians want to see me having sex.
Well,
judging by our statistical analysis.
No, it's fair.
That is what we have concluded.
The stats have concluded.
You know, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
You're a big hunk of hairy man, and, people are into that.
It has nothing to do with the beautiful woman that I might be having sex with. It's completely unrelated to that. I 100% must be attributed to me, of course.
Well, sex sells. Yeah. Sex sells. I found that. So today we were going on an adventure. We went with Immi from Immi The Vegan down to radio to RNZ to do an interview down there, and they're going to the interview was recorded. They're going to cut it together, and then it's going to come out on Sunday. So there's going to be an RNZ interview with Immi The Vegan herself on Sunday. Coming out on RNZ, and we'll share that link on facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and also it'll also be on the Immi The Vegan page, which is just search for Immi The Vegan. I think it's facebook.com/Immi The Vegan. So yeah, that's what we were doing today, and we went there, and then there was just one issue, which was that it turned out that neither of us were required for this. They did not want us, and they just wanted to talk to Immi. It was the Immi show.
Yep.
They didn't need us bums there.
Yeah. Well, they were
clogging up the airways.
Yeah, well,
with our shit.
They were they
missed opportunity. We could have had a funny little Guy and Harley podcast on the radio somehow. I wouldn't have wanted to have commandeered the show away from Immi The Vegan though.
They requested Immi The Vegan. We thought that meant Immi The Vegan plus Guy Pigden and Harley Neville, and no, they made it clear that that we were not required. And they're like, oh, but you should come back at some point later in the year. And it's like, yeah, what point later in the year is that, mate? Fucking never. Just say funny. Never.
It was funny, but I didn't even...
Don't put a spin on it.
I'm a hustler, right? Yeah. But I still didn't even... When they said that, I wasn't like, oh, yeah, I better follow that up right now. I was like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I was like...
See you later in the year, then.
Because I was like, why would you get me back to talk about a podcast from earlier in the year?
Yeah. Why would we?
I mean, sorry, a web series from earlier in the year.
Why would we come back when we're even less relevant than we are now?
Yeah.
I'm not. So please explain.
Why would you invite us back then? But I did fail in the sense that I should have said I should have got Immi to. I should have found that information so that I could follow up later in the year and be like, actually, how about Older?
Yeah. Well, look, Immi is
so I failed.
Producer failed there, but Immi is very smart and articulate, so I'm sure that she will acquit herself very well in that interview, and we will all tune in to listen, and not at all be envious that no one wanted to talk to us.
Yeah. So we went on another important adventure after that, though, which was we
spicy chicken.
Well,
I tell you what, that spicy chicken turned into an adventure for me just before this podcast started. Adventure to the toilet bowl.
Well, I guess we shouldn't really be advertising the fact that we went and ate chicken while we're doing. Technically, we were out scouting and looking around at cinemas and so on for the premiere of our big show this Sunday. Immi The Vegan is coming out finally, and we're going to have this big premiere. So we had to go today to drop the DCP off to the cinema, the digital cinema package off to the cinema for them to test it and make sure it's working. The surprise DCP that they didn't tell us about until 2 days ago.
Threw us a little curveball there. They did say originally that, hey, look, just play it off a laptop. And it's like, cool, sweet. I can make a QuickTime file. No worries. And then they're like, oh, actually, it plays in a weird aspect ratio if we play it off a laptop.
Stretches it because of the HDMI cable.
So how's about a DCP? There's free programs on the internet to do that. And it's like, thanks.
If you had 2 days and you didn't know how to do it, that would be such a nightmare.
Yeah. If you didn't know.
Fortunately, you're the DCP batch.
Yeah.
And you have done many of them.
Well, the last DCP I made was quite recently, which was for Older when it was going to have its one and only festival screening, which we were not to know at the time that it was going to be the one and only. But when I had to make that was when I learned that DCPs are getting easier to make. They still take 8 hours of rendering, but They're definitely easier to make than when I made the prior DCP, which was, well, for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust and then No Caller ID. So so it was, hopefully, we don't actually know. I'm not sure they've actually confirmed that the DCP was fine, but we're just going to assume that it is.
Well, we haven't heard anything. She said she's going to test it tonight.
No doubt she's chortling away to herself as she watches it back.
I imagine she's falling in love with me as we speak.
So that is all set up, hopefully, for the premiere on Sunday.
Yeah.
The first time, no, that's not true. I was going to say that the first time a web series has premiered in a cinema, I'm sure that's not true at all. I'm sure they've done that.
I literally went to one like the other day and talked about it on this show.
The first time ever.
Rurangi.
The first time ever that this has happened. This is a monumental occasion.
Well, the one I went to, Rurangi, was in a cinema, and it's now having its like official premiere at the NZIFF, the New Zealand International Film Festival. But it's a web series. But they cut together a supercut for a cinema screening, and it was for the premiere, which is what kind of gave me the idea. I was like, yeah, it totally works, because I attended it and it was awesome. I was like, this is great. We could totally do this. No, it won't be at the ASB Waterfront Theatre, probably.
Is that where theirs was?
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that is not a cheap venue.
It's not. It's where the I mean, it's fairly priced in the market in terms of what it is, but not anybody can afford to go dropping like $10,000 or more, for a night.
Oh, the ASB Theatre is basically the newest theatre in Auckland, specifically designed like acoustically to work for the theatre presentation, with this trendy design, hundreds of millions of dollars to build it. And of course now there's no theatre, but there are still movies, so maybe they'll be having that, and the theatre will be restarting eventually.
Yeah, I guess they have been effective, but you mean like international theatre? Yeah, I guess they don't have like big international shows coming through anymore,
and a lot of those productions have been shut down and have not been unshut down. In fact, someone who works in the theatre has be like running events often in that theatre has been made redundant because there's no theatre work going at the moment. So everyone's been affected. Maybe they'll put out their prices down a little bit and we could afford to go there.
Yeah, well, actually that's where they have the festival, the premiere of Show Me Shorts last year. That's where we had it at the ASB Waterfront.
It's a lovely
Theatre.
venue.
It was good. Yeah. It was nice, and we would use it again, but not sure what's happening this year in terms of where it's going to be just yet. I don't think we've announced that.
Right. So yeah, that's all in the pipeline, and we're still selling tickets for that at the moment.
Yeah.
So where can they find tickets if people want to?
Oh, so if people want to, get tickets to Eventbrite. So it's on Eventbrite, but the best place to go right now would be to go to, go to Event. I'm going to post it. Actually, I'm going to post it right here in the comments. There we go. That's not it. But Eventbrite is the place to go, or you can go to facebook.com/GuyAndHarley, and you can find it there because I'll post it there as well. So facebook.com/GuyAndHarley, but otherwise go to eventbrite.co.nz and search for Immi the Vegan. IMMI is her name, Immi the Vegan. So the event's called Web Series Immi the Vegan. It's on July 19th, this Sunday. And tickets, we have limited tickets left, and it's a cast and crew screening, and we're going to do a Q&A afterwards, and we're going to do a wee intro beforehand, and we'd love to see you all there.
We're gonna do a very short Q&A. We're going to take one Q and provide one A.
It will be quite short because we've got to be out at 6:15 in time for the next screening, but then we can have a drink in the foyer, in the lobby.
Which is what we are all looking forward to, ultimately.
Yeah, but so we encourage people to come along at 4:30. We'll get you all in there. We'll get you bang on 5 p.m. We'll be hitting play. 6:01 p.m. the thing finishes, and we've got 14 minutes for a Q&A, and then we go out to the foyer and have a mingle. And all this for $15 plus GST. So come along, meet the stars of the Guy and Harley podcast.
I thought you were going to say the stars of Immi the Vegan.
Oh, yeah, well, them too. They'll be there too,
I suppose they'll also be there, but it's not really about them.
Yeah, no. Well, not to these guys. Not to these guys.
Yep.
Immi the Vegan's just one project from the Guy and Harley plethora of projects.
We'd love to see you there. If you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, we'd love to see you there. It'd be very cool. Also, it's one of those unique experiences to see the web series in a much better way than you otherwise normally would. Normally be watching on your fucking laptop, on your phone, with the volume turned down. So
yep, keep going.
You'd be you'd be sort of while your girlfriend's playing Mass Effect, and all you can hear is the explosions, and you miss the jokes and all that sort of thing. This time you get to see it in the cinema, right? You get to see it at its highest quality. I made a special export for it at a much higher quality. The colors, beautiful, just as Dave McLaren, the colorist, would have hoped. And essentially the sound coming from it's not actually surround sound because there's no 5.1 mix, but still the sound much better than it otherwise would be. And it's just in general going to be awesome. Also, to watch a comedy with a bunch of other people, I think, is always better than like chuckling away on the bus as you go to work and people looking at you like you're a weirdo, which is the other way that you might be digesting this content. So definitely
come see it how it's meant to be seen. Everybody, all these amazing professionals came along and put in all this work, and that's why it's taken us 2 years, because when you don't have any money, you've got to do it the hard way, which is the slow way, but you don't want to compromise on quality. So what do? You've got to work with the best professionals, and the only way to do that is to work around their schedules and so on. And so things take time to get done to the best possible standard, but it's done now. So come and see it on the big screen in all its glory with 100 or so other enthusiastic laughers.
So that's going to be very cool. That'll be fun. Looking forward to that. And then we must shift our attention. We must change. Just doing a little bit of DIY lighting there. We must shift focus to Older and the final 7 years in the making release.
Yeah,
and we are self-releasing. And
I've been self-releasing for years. So I know how to do that.
We're sort of self-releasing. So we are self-releasing big time in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because we just thought that was the best method for this film, and also with COVID and all that sort of other thing. So whereas obviously it's been distributed through Amazon, and it will be available if you go, well, I don't have Amazon. What the hell's an Amazon? Isn't that a rainforest that's being chopped down?
That joke number one there.
In case you're wondering. And so that's okay. Don't worry. It will be available in many other formats as we go forward. And also we will be hopefully making available some collector's edition DVD and Blu-rays. I've just been making some inquiries about that. And how we can do that. So you will also be able to own a piece of cinema history, and maybe even along with a little bit of merch, maybe an older T-shirt, and really support the cause and help us pay for all the stuff that I'm not sure our listeners really know this, but I'm sure most of them don't. But most places that you release a film, if you plan on screening it or making it a Blu-ray or DVD in New Zealand, you have to have it classified. It has to be rated by someone, because essentially they have to look at it and go, great, this is palatable to the masses, or this is definitely not for kids, or this is for a mature audience, or, well, you could take PG, parental guidance, whatever. So that classification thing, which you always see at the start of a film, which I really never gave a shit about, except when my dad wouldn't let me watch anything that was over R16, and I was like, Dad, I want to watch it. Dad,
I hate you, Dad.
Dad, I want to watch. Why can't I? I'm old enough, Dad. I'm old.
I'm gonna run away.
I'm old enough, and if you don't let me watch it, I'm running away from home. But I'm mature enough to watch this. So anyway, all of that rating thing, you actually have to pay a ginormous fee just for them to put the sticker on to say what rating it is. So just for them to sit down and watch it, you have to pay them thousands of dollars. So just for them to watch your film and go, yeah, we only think adults should watch this film. So now we have to take a bet with the audience and with ourselves is, will it be R16 or will it be R18? What do you think?
Oh, I think 16.
Take into account that I Survived the Zombie Holocaust was R16.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's no, you don't see any dicks.
No.
Well, unless you look really closely.
Spoiler alert!
If you frame it, if you pause it just the right place, you can find a frame of Guy Pigden's the base of his trunk is is visible for all to see if you know where to look. And at the right frame. Well, see, I found it. Is it there? Is it there? Is it? Oh, there it is.
There it is. And that's the interesting thing is how much deep analysis are these classified watchers going to be doing? Are they going to be freeze framing it? Are they going to be going frame by frame to make a call on this? Or are they just going to kind of see it as a hot...
Some people will. No, some people will. Some people will have a look, for sure.
So, you know, I'm kind of gambling R18 for this one. So that's
nah, I don't think it's raunchy enough.
Well, I don't think so either, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see who watches it at the classification board and makes that assessment. So we have to pay for that. We have to pay for a cinema. We have to pay for advertising. We have to pay for everything. So the best way for you to support will obviously be to purchase it online or via Blu-ray and maybe buy a t-shirt, something like that, when we are able to make those available. So that would be a huge help for us if you guys think of supporting us that way, and also
the easiest and best way that doesn't involve us posting DVDs to people and all that type of thing is buying it on Vimeo, because I'm pretty sure all we have to give is, you know, the tax
That's
man
right.
and Vimeo a cut, and Vimeo takes their cut. And so if you want to buy it on us, the probably the most profitable way, I assume, will be Vimeo, because it'll be priced the same as it would be, you know, on any other platform. It'll be priced the same as it would be on iTunes or whatever, but you'd be giving most of that money directly to us instead of giving it directly to them, who then give us a little, you know, cut.
I'm sort of suggesting
the best way, but we can only do that for the New Zealand. We're geo-blocked, so that, you know, our deal is only for New Zealand. So this is great for us to have a wee back door that we can peddle our merch and, you know, sell that for the rest of our lives. Exactly.
Although I will suggest, if you really want to support us, go the whole hog. Get it streaming, then buy a Blu-ray for yourself to keep forever, and buy a t-shirt.
Then get one for your mum.
And maybe get one for your mates for sure. That's really the way to go if you want to support this 7-year odyssey. And I'm just working with the t-shirt person at the moment, and it's a decent t-shirt. Don't worry, my face isn't on it. You don't have to worry about that.
It's Guy's ass. That's what it is. It's a shot from the film. It's Guy's ass.
Well,
as he's pumping.
Just to share a.
I can picture it now.
Well, just to share like a little hilarious anecdote about that is, I was doing the commentary track with the cast yesterday. So that's the other thing that we should say, is that the Blu-ray and DVD and the special edition on Vimeo will have a bunch of extras, including commentary tracks and interviews and deleted scenes and bloopers and you name it. So plenty of value for money. So anyway, we were talking about this, and I was going through, because I'm sort of going through at the moment looking for promotional photos, which one of the things was the camera that we filmed on was the Canon 5D Mark III, at least for the majority of shooting, which also took stills. And the best way for us to look at a frame to decide if we had something that we liked is just take a still and then look at the still, which means there's photo stills for every day. And so I was going through all of those photos over the
that's great.
The sort of the 55 plus days that we filmed, like 60 days, I guess, that we filmed over the course of those 6 years. And I found a hilarious one where I was doing a sex scene, and this was not a frame, not a still, but just something that the DOP took for a laugh. So I am butt naked on the ground. All you can see is my full moon mid push-up, while my Ashley McLaren, who plays Stephanie, one of the other lead actors in the film, she is on the bed also naked, like sort of covered up, and I'm in mid push-up with nothing on. All you can see is a full ass shot, and I'm doing push-ups to get a pump on before we start filming, so my muscles will look bigger when than they really are.
Yeah, just like Mike Edward in I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. Adam the Body Harrison from I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. You had to get pumped up.
I did that
before your nude scene.
I did that as a to take the piss out of doing it.
Yeah,
and then I did it. Not taking the piss.
In real life.
I did it for real because I wanted my muscles to look bigger and
it works.
The thing. So I was...
And it works.
But yeah, it was pretty hilarious. I don't know if we could actually... We would have to... We couldn't quite share that. We'd have to do a little bit of editing of that photo to share it, probably.
Yeah, well, not if you give it to me. I'll bang it on OnlyFans.
Well, it's in Google.
We'll get that booty earning some money.
It's on Google Drives. It's on Google Drive with the photos. BTS stills. You can find it there.
All right. I'll go find it.
You can find and monetize that photo.
But
pretty hilarious. Just a hilarious moment, which I completely forgot about. Like in my head, I don't remember ever doing that. I would never do that.
No.
I would never be so pathetic.
Only a dickhead like Adam the Body Harrison would do something as dumb as
egotistical. But I was doing it, and there I was, caught in the act.
And documented. Yes, so that's all very exciting. All very exciting. Exciting news all round, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other news, I need a date for the show, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to have to rustle up a date. It's like 2 days from now.
Yes.
So what do you do about that? So have to figure that out over the next couple of days. There is, I did mention that there was a woman that works at the cafe down the road. And I regularly go to this cafe, and in that time I've sort of befriended a waitress that works there, and she's a beautiful, and she remembers my name, and we sort of chat about stuff and so on. And I had mentioned that on the show before. I go down there and get my coffees.
And you thought that there might be a
a
connection.
Yeah, the other day
there might be a little spark.
Maybe. The other day we were chatting, and she, because maybe there was a spark. So we were chatting, and she said she suggested we connect online, and so that I could send her the links to some of these shows I'm talking about, because we talk about Immi the Vegan. I talk about Immi the Vegan to everybody I meet, and Older to everybody I meet, and so on. And so she gave me her name, and I added her on Facebook and so on, which was all a very pleasing development for me. However, Facebook giveth and Facebook taketh awayeth. because not only does she have a boyfriend, which has been revealed by Facebook, but
through your Facebook stalking, this has been revealed.
I face stalked him, and he's incredibly jacked, like next level Wolverine shredded, abs for Africa, like obviously takes it really seriously and definitely spends all week training and is no doubt on supplements and diets and so on. So that's good. That's he could crush me with one hand. That's the man that she's used to having sex with. He-Man.
So
He-Man in a loincloth.
She's dating He-Man.
She's dating He-Man. Here I am. Well, I don't know if I'm Skeletor.
No. But no, she's dating He-Man, and you offered her Wolfman.
Yeah. Well, so something tells me that if anything did ever happen between us, she'd be quite unimpressed by my flabby, hairy stomach and small, ineffectual, hairy penis.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. That's always the risk when you have a when you develop a crush on someone who's giving you coffee. There's a danger
whose job it is to be nice to you and give you coffee.
That they're just good at their job. There's a risk that they're just doing their job well, and that's it.
Well, look, she's very good at her job. I would hire her.
Yeah. So, well, I also did say this to you, and I do stand by it, is that you will never seem more appealing to a woman than at a premiere of a web series that
or any potential romantic partner.
Sure.
Let's include everybody.
Well, vice versa, or a man, depending on your gender, shall we say then.
Yeah.
Or not, depending on your preference.
Yes. Whatever tickles your
balls.
But
you'll never be more appealing to someone that you want to be sexually appealing to than if you are releasing your own web series that you act and produce in.
Well, the releasing your own part might not sound that impressive. What's he doing? He's releasing a web series that he made.
Well, I think at the premiere, when there's 100 people, it seems pretty important. Just the same.
It will be. There'll be a good atmosphere if it goes well.
So you never have. There's never another time in your sort of filmmaking career where the filmmaking actually represents itself in a way that other people go, "Wow, this guy is actually a big deal." Because normally what filmmaking is you sitting at home on your computer twiddling away. Editing or marketing or spending your own money and not having a life and not being able to do anything and saying, "Oh, sorry,
editing a podcast.
Sorry, I'm actually busy for the next 4 weeks. Let's touch base after that." And oh, sorry, I've got back and I've been away for 14 hours. I have to go to bed now. I'll talk to you in 4 weeks, love, my girlfriend. So there's, but whereas at the premieres, this is when the fantasy seems all alive and well.
I play the lead, the leading male in this romance. So you have to hope that we have succeeded in making, the viewers fall in love with me. That's kind of part of it, right? I'm not necessarily like the main one or anything like that, but that's kind of the point, right? Because there's a romance between these two people. People have to see why she would be attracted to this person. And so we have to see if we win them over or not. But I think we have, and I think we will. I think that the show is going to be great. And I think that a lot of vegan women are going to be very disappointed when they hear that I'm not vegan.
Yes.
It's going to break a few hearts. It's going to break a few vegan hearts. It is.
You just have to say, what is it? I'm sympathetic to the cause.
No, look, I'm an ally of the ideology, and all I need is a strong vegan woman to come into my life and fix me.
Push you over the edge.
No, fix me. That's all I need. Strong vegan woman to come into my life and fix me. I'll be a vegan. If it's easy, I'll be a vegan. I don't mind. It's just if it's hard. It's just if it's hard that it's a problem.
If it's hard, then ethically, I don't give a shit anymore.
Nah. I could cut back for sure. I don't even eat that much meat as it is, but I'm not saying goodbye to honey. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Fuck it. It doesn't count.
Yeah, look, honey's Honey's the bees. The bees. Yeah, I don't really have honey, so that wouldn't be an issue.
I have hot honey lemon gingers all the time, and it's why I don't get sick very often. Make them at home, do it yourself, drink them regularly. No COVID for you.
Yeah, I mean, also that you've self-isolated in a basement for months would also help you not get sick.
Well, that's true. If you never interact with anybody and have no life, have no intimacy with anybody ever,
you'll be very a healthy person.
You will. I did feel quite healthy during the lockdown. Staying away from people was quite good for my health. It was quite salubrious.
Never felt better without those pesky germs from other people. Yes. So yeah.
Now, it is Dry July, and people on the live stream on this episode and the last episode, no doubt, will have looked and said, "Well, hang on a fucking minute. Harley's sinking piss on the show. I can fucking see him. He's drinking a beer. It's Dry July, that fucking liar.
That scumbag."
Fear not, people. This is the DB Export 0.0% alcohol beer, and it's got lemon in it, and it's kind of like a shandy. It's like a lemonade beer with no alcohol, and it's actually pretty tasty. Actually pretty good. I would drink these on at a summer party where I had to drive.
Sounds very disgusting.
A shandy. Shandies are delicious, mate. You just got to be manly enough to admit it.
I can't really get on board with and also with drinking alcoholic tasting alcohol that is non-alcoholic.
Yeah, no alcohol.
That's a.
It doesn't really taste. It's not too alcoholic. Yeah. Well, we better give some a couple of wee shout outs actually, because I owe a few. I owe a few from this. I've got feedback and all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, a debt, exactly. So, and I did want to shout out to Liam Hegarty over in Melbourne. I know I talked about him last episode, but I wanted to say, shout out to him who's out there doing another full 6 in the hole. So don't worry, mate. We'll be here to entertain you every week. And rather you than me, though. Gosh.
Yeah.
6 weeks as well. Ours was only 4 weeks. They're talking about a 6-week one.
Well, no, ours got extended by 4 weeks.
I did it? Oh, because we
doubled up.
So how long was it?
I think it was 8 weeks in total, and then maybe an extra couple on level 3. Something like that.
Yeah, the fucking year's almost finished.
Yeah.
We're more than halfway through. COVID has eaten the first half of the year. It's just taken it all over. Everything else has been on pause, and we've just jumped in half a year.
Yeah, well, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get to have. I wasn't made redundant and get the holiday that everyone else had over that COVID time. I really had to. I had to work really hard. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that situation.
Look,
thank you to the New Zealand government for supporting me. I mean, I sincerely they did the government. The plan completely worked in the sense that it preserved my way of life and got me through it. So it completely worked. The wage subsidy. I'm very grateful for it. But yeah, I'm very grateful for it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because there's an element of definitely an element of envy or jealousy for those whose lives have been destroyed and are put on the subsidy because you're like, man, that looks sweet. I'd be doing that right now. And it's like, well, temporarily you would be. Long term, you would not. So it looks cool now, kids, but just see in a few months' time where you're at. So yes, it was an interesting time, and in terms of COVID updates, and also my sister is over there, in Melbourne,
where?
And she's obviously on lockdown, but just prior to this new lockdown, they were talking about finally opening up her place of work in like maybe a month, more or something like that. The restrictions were going to ease, and now COVID is surging, and they've had a record number again today of new cases and community transmission. It's all go. And so, they're kind of back at square frickin' one. But that means that when you're talking about it like a holiday, she's going to be on like a half year holiday, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, a low paid half year holiday. But I'd take a low paid half year holiday. I wouldn't take a permanent holiday.
Well, you'd be a fool not to, because if you could take a low paid, half year holiday, you could use that time where you're getting by with just enough money to spend all the time you want on creative endeavors. You get a lot done in 6 months if you had just enough to pay your rent and eat your food, and then you just got other shit done. I mean, it'd be a pain in the butt when it came time to shoot things, because that cost money.
But yeah, I'm currently, on a term break at the moment, and I'm like, man, I get so much done in a day. I am very, and I forgot about this thing where if you have spare time and you literally only have this one singular thing to work on, and that's your artistic, creative endeavors, how much you can do in a day when it's not tempered by 8 hours of something else that day. So, yes, but it's interesting times. We are still walking around in New Zealand.
Well, what's going to happen here? I don't see how this doesn't end well, people. It doesn't end well. I don't see how it can possibly. How can we keep it out forever? I want to, but how do we do it? And then what happens when we're just an island in ourselves? We're like literally an island, but socially we would be an island. We would be the what did I say? The North Korea of the South Pacific, where we're isolationist and we don't let anybody in. But how does that work? Do we become this elite place where everybody wants to come, and we become super rich because the people just basically pay to get in here and they love it, and we keep it out? Because that sounds quite good.
Yeah.
Or is the nation poor as fuck because we have difficulty, we lose our ability to get people from overseas? Well, I guess we'd still get specialists in and all that. You know what? This could be a gold mine
New
for
Zealand.
New Zealand.
Could be booming.
Like if we can keep it out and just have really good strict quarantine that works.
Yes,
we could have people that could come over here that would want to get in here, that would be queuing up and paying a lot to come here, and would come here to spend money and so on, and we could be this much wanted situation.
It is weird because we're totally like our conversations, right? If we lived in any other country, almost would be entirely different. This journey that we've been on, where it was like, we're on lockdown. Oh, we're out of lockdown. Oh, everything's back to normal. Oh, everything's fine. Oh, the rest of the world isn't.
The rest of the world's fucked.
None of that would still be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, well, I'm actually this is the 4th month of lockdown now, and I can't get anything, and it's really annoying, and everything's gone to shit. So it is mental. It is mental that we just, by circumstance of where we live, have lucked into this sort of environment. I think that the problem is the second wave, and the problem is exactly. How do you keep it out when all it takes is one person, like that guy who
went to the fucking supermarket for a pie and a V?
Well, they also I heard another story where there was 50 minutes. I thought it was 50 minutes in total, but apparently it was longer, and it was 50 minutes unaccounted for, which he was refusing to account for.
Oh, okay. So he went for a cheeky
that's
a cheeky massage somewhere or something.
Sensual massage.
Right. So if he did, and he gave it to a masseuse, and that masseuse gave it to 20 people a day or whatever, how many people, and nobody knows because they don't know to test that
he's
place.
Not willing to admit that, because as soon as he admits that, that's going to create problems for him. More problems. I mean, talk about being punished to the fullest extent of the law. You went for a cheeky gobby when you had COVID and a pie?
Yeah. So it wasn't a V, it was a gobby and a pie.
So...
what
the nation's scorn would be at an all-time high. Now, obviously, that's all unsubstantiated. That's rumor and hearsay.
Well, it's so
but
believable.
It does seem,
you'd like to believe that, just because it's like, if that's how it's
exactly. That's how community transmission was instigated. This guy.
That's a funny story. That's in history, reading back on this in a historical perspective, that will be funny. There was this one guy who is now a historic figure who came over and went and boned a hooker, and then she spread it. She was a super spreader, so to speak, and spread it everywhere. And this guy was the downfall of New Zealand.
Yep, this guy just tried to get his rocks off.
You should write a movie about him, but he's actually a good guy.
So anyway,
I was just really stressed. Okay, and I just needed some intimacy, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, there is a movie there. There is a great movie there.
I was so lonely.
Yeah. Some put upon bald, short, hairy guy.
So
put upon
that's the
guy.
Yeah,
the guy that looks like you actually.
Yeah, well, it does make sense that I would play the role, right?
And he has to apologize to a nation.
Yeah,
the downfall of a nation.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny. So we don't actually. That's unsubstantiated rumor and innuendo, but that's what someone told me about that. But let's hope it's not. And let's hope we do keep it out and we become the rich utopia that we currently where we're heading. I suppose is down that path at the moment. Lots of film places are really going to want to film.
What's happening? I've been talking to people, and apparently there's a lot more casting going on, and a lot of ads happening because the insurance situation over here, they can still shoot over here or something. So if a big company wants to get an ad shot easily, even if they're overseas, as long as they just use our cast and our crew, we're busy. They go, we need this ad. Can you make it over in New Zealand? Yep.
Now
so they're busy making ads and stuff for people that can get insurance.
Now would be the best time ever to work on your Achilles heel. The American accent. Now would be the best time ever to fucking learn that.
I'm just gonna do my best Wolverine. My best John Wayne.
Never been a better time to make some money pretending to be an American in an American funded New Zealand shot ad TV show.
Absolutely.
Movie.
That could be the the stepping stone I need up to Hollywood. That's a COVID ladder right there. It's a ladder provided by COVID. Because chaos is not a pit, it's a ladder. And we're in this chaos, this COVID chaos, and we're all keeping an eye out for ladders, or we should be, and I am. And so that's a COVID ladder right there.
So that's what you're going to be doing with your spare time.
Probably won't.
No, right. If I had to make
fear of success, it's fear of success is what it is. I don't want. It's like, nah, I don't know. I'm probably not good enough to do that. I won't do that.
Fear of success or just good old fashioned laziness?
Nah, it's fear of success. That's what a psychologist would say.
Nah, definitely not that. Definitely not the lazy. Not trying having to do something difficult you don't want to do. Nothing to do with that.
Well,
fear of success.
Listen, I need a team, and it takes a village to raise a man-child. So, I need someone to help me motivate. That's what I need. I need a motivating team. Like you said, how much you can get done if you do just an 8-hour day. And it's true. But it's like, it's difficult to stay motivated when you're sitting in a room all day, doing that all day and night, all the time, by yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, that's kind of where the COVID situation is. We've got the all clear, just a few more isolated cases. They say everything's all good as long as border control remains strict. Although we're going to have a lot of incomings, but definitely not really any outgoings, I imagine. When does New Zealand get to capacity,
I think it's at about capacity.
Yeah, so
I think we don't need too many more.
So when do we say?
I think we're pretty good.
Thanks.
Well,
but no thanks.
Yeah.
You made your international bed.
That's an economic question,
yes,
right?
It is.
The question is, how much workforce do we need, and how much is too much for our society and just weighted down by people we can't use or whatever.
Yep.
So how much population do you need? And so you got to figure that out. So I suggest we cancel all the foreign, all the expats.
Yep.
All you guys are out. Liam, sorry, you live in Melbourne.
No,
now.
you made your choice, my friend. My sister,
no,
can't come back.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you can't come
sorry,
back.
you're stuck in a half-year holiday. I'm sorry. Because also that is the other thing is like I don't really understand how it works, but I imagine at some point for people like my sister, the government may say, okay, cool, well, you don't get the subsidy anymore. You do have to be shipped back to New Zealand now because we can't afford to kind of keep you here. All people like you must leave because unfortunately this wave has come back and
get the fuck out.
The budget, you've been furloughed. The budget can't afford you anymore. So that is a possibility. But I hope whatever way it works out for my sister. There's always the Dunedin casino calling her name if she should so choose. But I think the issue is, you want to be paid what you're worth. And I'm not sure that Dunedin was really doing that.
It's the most lucrative place. Now, these shout outs is Dean Young. Dean Young is another shout out. So shout out to Dean. He's been listening and he is coming along to the Immi The Vegan premiere. So I'll see you there, mate. FGS Happy gets a shout out on Twitch, and so does PS Friends Podcast. Those two get shout outs on Twitch for becoming followers, and I owe them that for some reason. Shout out to Black Lives Matter, who started following us recently. I'm really enjoying your work lately.
Thank you very much.
All of this disruption of the status quo is delicious. So well done to you, Black Lives Matter.
We appreciate your contributions.
And thank you for following us. Echo M just wanted to say that the expression this is in regard to something a previous episode. I just wanted to say the expression, I'm going to take a shit, which is something you said, is so wrong. Nobody ever takes the shit with them when they're done. So I'm going to officially change it to I'm going to leave a shit.
Yeah.
And P.S. You guys crack me up. That's all true. We do crack you up, and leaving a shit does make a lot more sense, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I am not taking it anywhere with me after the fact.
Yeah. Now, Echo M also said that they were wondering if they got their email, because they sent me a comedy short and was wondering if I had any critiques. I think it was actually sent to the Guy and Harley podcast email account. A Guy and Harley podcast @gmail.com if anybody needs to get in touch with us. But as you're about to hear, I didn't read that. So he says, currently I'm working on my TV pilot, and I don't want to say too much about it, but if I ever sell it, I want Harley to play the part of the undead social worker.
Brilliant.
So that sounds cool. Sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant. But the answer is that I did not actually read that. I am quite bad at reading or watching things that people send me. But it wasn't actually that I didn't. I think the issue was that I saw the email and then I didn't check the email.
Right.
So I didn't actually read it. So it's not so much that I read it and was like, nah, fuck that person. It was that I didn't read it, which is much friendlier.
Maybe you should go back and and read it.
And read it. Yeah. Well, I guess it depends how short it is.
Yeah, Jason Coombs has pointed that out. So we're not very good at looking at things,
reading shit that people send us,
which is not.
If somebody sends me an email, that's okay, but it's not the same as like, can you also take your time to go and like read this and then write notes and give it back?
I mean, that is
because it's like
interaction.
That's the type of thing that I don't do
for anybody.
Enough. I don't do enough of that on Pigville. So what am I? I'm probably not doing it for strangers as well.
Well, once you reach a certain level of success, advice is no longer free. Is it?
Apart from if you listen to the Guy and Harley podcast.
So have we reached that level? I do remember. So, to that point.
Well, I just would like to clarify that Echo M. Thank you very much for sending that script though, and I will check it out. I'll read it. And I'll get back to you. So thank you very much for interacting.
Yes. But to your point, someone the last script I was asked to read, I started and did not read. And this person asked me, and I started reading it, and I realized that actually this is a really bad script. So for me to give feedback on this means that
It's going to be a lot of work
to pick it apart almost page by page, because on every single page there's a problem.
That's the problem, right? And it's a risk because you never know if they might give you a good script and you're like, cool, it's great. But if you commit to it and say you're going to give them notes and all that, and then you read it and you're like, oh god, where the fuck do I even start?
And that's the thing. So I did sort of start, but I just couldn't get through because I was like, I've made 20 notes and I'm on page 3. Now it's not fair of me to then turn around and go, well, look, your whole script sucks too much for me to even bother reading it, bro. Like that's not a good response. But then the other response is
to say,
the other response is to say, sorry, I just haven't read it, is also not good. It's a slap in the face in a different way.
That's why you just ignore whatever they send. You see, it's a defense mechanism.
But I do think that does become an issue. And also the other thing of the idea of like, okay, you read a script, you find 20 notes in the first 3 pages. Now, do you think that person is really going to take those notes and go, oh, thank you. I really appreciate all this great feedback. I've got such a great launch point for my next draft. Or they're going to go, oh, fuck you. You don't fucking get it, you dumb shit.
No, that's just what you would do.
You fucking dumbass.
Most people would take
what the fuck is wrong with you? You're so dumb. You don't even get my brilliance.
And improve their script.
You don't even can't even see how smart I am. You fucking idiot. No, honestly, but I do think that like, if it goes past a certain point, you're almost critiquing the fact that they shouldn't be a writer, and then if you're saying that. That's a real big statement for someone who's an aspiring writer.
But who would say that?
Quit,
why would you say they shouldn't?
Probably quit
writing.
writing.
Quit writing. That's never say that to anybody.
So one of my mentors said to me once upon a time, and I do kind of think this is true, is that writing is something that can't be taught. You can get better at writing, you can improve upon writing, but there is an innate talent that writers have that makes their writing easy to digest and read. That some people just aren't good at, and so
it's nurture, not nature.
No, I disagree.
It's not genetic.
But that's
it's what you teach them is when they're brought up, what they're brought up with.
Well, sure, but
their intellectual capacity
as well. If you get to an end point where your writing is just not good writing, can you really become a good writer?
You can, but the problem is that these people who are not good don't have the dedication to learn it properly. So they don't they don't have the drive to do it. But it's not that they couldn't learn it; it's that they fail in the motivation.
I disagree. I think that there's some people where there are certain things.
Obviously there are some people who are a bit too
that's just
they just don't have the capacity.
It's just not their skill set.
But not them. Yeah, but you can learn a skill set. It's about nurture, so it's not genetic, is what I'm saying.
But there's also some skill sets that you can't learn, no matter how much you want to.
That's bullshit.
I can't play basketball like Michael Jordan, right? So.
No, but you're not. Well, okay, now you're talking about being able to be the best of the best at anything you put your mind to, which is obviously silly because I can't dunk over Jordan. I'm physically not capable of that. But this is a mental thing. We're talking about if somebody can be born just unable to write to the same level that some savants can. But I think that actually it's about overall intelligence and overall interest and motivation and the nurture, the way you were brought up. If you were encouraged to read, if you were surrounded by books, you're more likely to be good at it.
I think you're definitely more likely to be good at it. But
yeah, that's what it is. And practice.
Maybe
10,000 hours.
It's 10,000 hours, but
10,000 hours.
I don't know. I guess I've read from some very smart people who I would
very smart people, the smartest
people, the best, the biggest, who I would consider judging by their that they are very well read and and should be good writers. Are definitely not. And I don't understand that disconnect.
Yeah, but some people are better than others always. But Baby Wolf in
this
training
guy should quit
commented,
writing, is what I was saying.
No, he shouldn't.
He should fucking retire because he's just way so far off base.
If you're into it, don't give up. I hope he doesn't tune in.
He's definitely not tuning in, so I feel like I've got some freedom to to say that he should maybe
say horrible
learn a
things
new
about
hold. Go away, learn a new hold. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that aspect is not for you.
This motivational speech has been brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Fuck off, learn a new hold.
So Baby Wolf in Training commented regarding trumpets. I might have said this one already, but thanks, Harley, for giving me nightmares about trumpets / Trump pence. Other than that, you guys rock.
Look at that.
Yeah, so that
your
was
conspiracy theory that links
about
Trump
the Christian
Pence,
death cult.
the death cult, and trumpet and trumpets signifying the end times.
Yeah, the end will be heralded. The end will be heralded by trumpets, according to the Bible. Trumpets, Trump Pence, Trump Pence. The end will be heralded by Trump Pence.
If you've ever wanted to hear the ravings of a mad conspiracy theorist, you can also tune back in to listen to that episode.
I think it might be called Trump Pence, or that one might be the one after it. Actually,
right.
I do that sometimes. Just to mislead people somehow. Anyway,
just
the
so
one
they
before
can't
is probably
find
the actual Trump
the thing they want to listen to. Genius.
Well, well, it's not meant to. It's because we name it and then anyway, look. Finally, this one's from Sam Wheeler, who said that he's finally caught up on all these podcasts that he'd missed out on, which unfortunately means of kind of reliving the bloody lockdown with us.
Stuck in lockdown again as we were.
Yeah, he's going back and listening to us as we went through lockdown. So that was sure to be a harrowing experience, maybe, reliving it, get some lockdown PTSD. But he also says, I hear what Guy is saying about plagiarism with the Japanese film One Cut of the Dead, I think it was called. As someone who has had many times had his ideas taken and had even credit for music he's released, leaving him unknown and unacknowledged. But you just got to let it go. And he says that Hollywood is notorious for these kinds of rip-offs. He was sitting at the American Pavilion at the Festival de Cannes in 2013, listening to a company meeting where they were literally boasting about how that was their company practice to find a film like The Hobbit and make a version of it called Age of the Hobbits and then market it with the pitch, if you liked The Hobbit, then you'll like Age of Hobbits. So that's what he says about something that you said.
Well, thank you for chiming in there, Sam. And you are right that you do ultimately have to let it go if you don't have the financial ability to sue.
Yeah, and we are talking about Guy thinks that the movie One Cut of the Dead, the Japanese zombie film, is a rip-off of I Survived the Zombie Holocaust, which came out first. I don't think
it's a rip-off.
Inspired by.
I feel like there was some inspiration taken. Some liberties taken, but that's just my opinion. It does piss me off. It does piss me off that I read reviews of it. And they're like, "It's brilliant! It's a masterpiece! It's so clever the way they deconstruct a zombie film." And I'm like, "You mother flippers!
They just didn't see ours. We've been through this. They just didn't see our one though. That's the problem.
We deconstructed it first."
We did.
Hey, we deconstructed that idea first, as I shouted from my little seat in New Zealand.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we will have to wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
Because I need to get to do some marketing. I got to do some marketing for this Immi the Vegan.
Got to do some marketing.
I've got a lot of admin to do, like uploading things and changing thumbnails and these types of things.
And
sharing people and messaging people directly and saying, hey, have you got your ticket yet? Or if it's somebody I've forgotten, hey, do you want a ticket? So if you're out there and you do want to attend, please do. I posted it in the chat. But otherwise, go to facebook.com/GuyandHarley. I've posted it there as well. But it's eventbrite.co.nz and look for Immi The Vegan World Premiere. You'll find it. And you can get your tickets there. And last time I checked, there was only 9 left. So go and have a wee look-see there and get yours. And if you worked on it and you haven't heard from us or something like that, just slide into my DMs. And because we do have some comps as well. So we've got some comps for cast and crew
and
as
if
well.
you'd like Harley to take you on a date there,
slide into my DMs. Well. Yeah. All right. Well, did you have any other pressing topics?
No, I myself have a lot of older materials to start preparing for our imminent release. So there's.
And now I've got to add editing this show to my to-do list. And it doesn't help that I forgot to hit record until halfway through, and I'm going to have to rip it. I'm going to have to rip it from the internet.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And then use that audio for the first bit of it, and then switch over to the Skype audio, all in the timeline. So that's good. I'll add all that together, and I want to get it out before Sunday so people can buy tickets to the bloody, show. Woz is not going to hear about it if I don't get this out before Sunday and get it in his ear holes, So now I've got to add that to my list of shit to do.
Can't rely on these live streamers, to do all the heavy lifting. Yep. So let's wrap it up. I do have to call someone right now, so we should probably do that.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for listening. Facebook.com/Guy and Harley. Go to Patreon.com/Pigville, and you can give us $1 a month or whatever you want. And that is really sincerely the best way to support us. It's money directly towards our filmmaking and streaming and all that stuff. Patreon.com/Pigville. But Immi the Vegan, that's where we really want to see you if you're in Auckland. And if you're anywhere else in the world, you can see it on Monday. It's going to be available on Facebook.com/Immi the Vegan, and it's also going to be available on YouTube. Search for Immi the Vegan on YouTube. And if we have a choice, we'd rather you watch it on YouTube because we're attempting to get the stats up so we can monetize it. So please go and check that out if you can. That would be amazing. And you can also watch it on the Pigville Productions channel, and that one is actually monetized because it's our big channel. So if you can go there as well, that's not the official channel, but it's the big channel. Facebook.com/Pigville and the number 2, and we're going to be uploading it there on Monday as well. And that's for all our 20,000 subscribers. Shout out to you dudes who are not listening to the podcast, evidently. But yes, that's all. So thank you very much for listening, and see you next week.